It's great to great to see so many familiar faces. It's been way too long, and I really appreciate us all being able to be here today. Thank you for the invitation, Hank, to the entire Dalí staff. What a wonderful thing to imagine the next 10 years for sports in our community. It was a joyous experiment to work on this speech, and I really appreciate the opportunity. We certainly stand here together in an incredibly tumultuous time. Every conversation heavy with the weight of the coronavirus and our nation's divisions. And in imagining the next decade, I took some time to look back on this last decade and all it meant for my hometown, for the Rays, and for the Rowdies. Within that context, sports can feel a little bit silly. These are just games after all. But sometimes sports are more than just sports too. And in looking back over this decade, we've seen sports sit at the center of so many of the issues facing our community. Back in 2015, we raised our organization's minimum wage to $10, sadly, still far above where we set the bar today. The Rays were the first team to support marriage equality in front of the Supreme Court. It seems almost unthinkable today that in 2015, our LGBT brothers and sisters could not legally marry. It was also the Rays who first called on the removal of the Confederate statue off the Hillsborough County court steps, all the way back in 2017. That same year, we initiated our Park Walk and Cheer program with Chief Holloway and the St. Pete Police Department, working to improve relations between law enforcement and the community it serves. We had no idea so many of these programs, so much of what we did off the soccer pitch and away from the ball field, could be so crucial, critical, and central to where we are today. How could we have? Yet sports can set the tone for who we are as a community. Sports teams are part of a region's identity, as are our venues. This past decade, millions have celebrated at Tropicana Field and Al Lang Field as the Rays and Rowdies have put remarkable, winning teams together year after year after year. But let us not forget the tens of thousands of high school graduates who received their diplomas walking across the stage in front of friends and family at the Dome. We have also come together in the face of tragedy. I certainly will never forget the 40,000 people who mourned the Pulse nightclub shooting at Tropicana Field in 2016. On that, our Pride Night, we sent a message from our ballpark to the world, loudly and unequivocally proclaiming that our community does not stand for violence nor intolerance. Over these last few years, we've staged far too many hurricane relief efforts, food drives, and of course now, COVID testing sites at our stadiums. When we are at our best, our teams and our venues bring us together, whether the times be happy or sad, whether the circumstances whimsical or profound. And so that is both my wish and my prediction for the next 10 years of Rays, Rowdies, sports in this community. We will build an extraordinary new ballpark, a new home for both our beloved teams and a new venue for us to come together. We will continue to use the power of our organization, our platform, our venue, and the surrounding development it will catalyze to aid our collective quest to build a better region. We will support those marginalized communities that need us most. We'll stand up to bigotry and intolerance. We will do so on the most visible and public of stages, our sports fields. And through strong, trusting, public and private partnerships, we will do so while building a special bond with our new sister city, Montreal. We'll see what happens when a Major League Baseball team connects two distant communities with so much in common. We'll see that through the power of fandom, we can create bonds between our home and Montreal that exist far beyond the inevitable tourism to culture, business, innovation, education, and very appropriately today, the arts. And we will continue to represent the very best of what it is to be Tampa Bay. We won't be the richest, the biggest, the baddest, but we will win. Just as the Rays and Rowdies have done this past year as champions of the American League and the USL East, we will win through teamwork. We will stand side by side. We will support one another, root for each other, and come out on top in a better position than many thought imaginable. If things come together just right, if the ball bounces our way, so to speak, we'll look back 10 years from now on a decade that includes an incredible stadium development project. We'll marvel at the many times we've gathered at our ballpark to celebrate, to share, and to support one another. And of course, we'll have banners soaring high above our iconic sports stadium commemorating soccer championships and World Series victories. Through it all, we will be proud of the role our teams have played to help make our community stronger, more vibrant, more inclusive, and more cohesive. So here's to another 10 years of our treasured Dalí Museum, another 10 years of the Rays and Rowdies, and another 10 years in this beautiful community we are all so fortunate to call our home. Thank you.